Hi everybody, it's Lisa from Lisa's Paper Passion coming to you with a quick little tutorial on something I came across on YouTube. I was inspired to make this based on what she showed. It's a Spanish channel and it was a really great idea. She said that she was going to do a tutorial, but I didn't really understand which part of it was a tutorial because she just basically showed one page and then you had to buy the whole rest of the instructions. So that's why I said inspired. I know she's created it, but this is my version of it because I refuse to pay $12 for the tutorial, and it's fairly easy, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So let me just go ahead and show you actually what it is. It's like a mini album. This is what it looks like from the side. And this is the back of it. I did put feet on it. It doesn't look pretty on the bottom, but I really don't care because it's sturdy and I like it. So make it your own, of course, as I always say. This is the front. This was a one of those Dollar Tree, yeah, like a tag. I don't have one here, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to kind of do this really fast. So I made this. Again, this is like a really cute wood banner. The top of it is just yarn. I can't think of the word, from Daiso, and I just kind of threaded it, and you'll see. Alexa, stop. Sorry, my timer went off. And then you open to... Alexa, stop. Sorry. So you open this up, and it turns into a stand-up mini album. Really, really cute. This was the first one that I did. I'm planning on making another one as a gift, but this is I just wanted to kind of show you. So it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. It's not that hard to make, trust me, because I did all the measurements for you. So this part, I put a pocket here. She did a different, her version of it, and then each of these pulls out. And it's called the invisible binding system, so you won't see anything sticking out, and I'll show you how to make that as easy as well. So each of these I made into a tag. Here, let me do it this way. And then they just flip. And each one is covered by a handmade embellishment by me, except that one. Really cute. And then this side I put 2 little pockets. I'll do the tutorial for the pockets later because while I'm looking at this right now, I didn't measure prepare. I could tell you kind of how to make it, but I didn't make the tutorial for these 2 pockets. In her tutorial, she doesn't have it. And then I just kind of stuck little cute things in there just to have. And then this part of it is the yarn that's wrapped around in the front. I mean, on the top. Okay, so, and then it does come with I put the Velcro enclosure on it. And then the last thing that I did, which I'll show you, snap this back, is I added chipboard on the bottom of it. I would highly recommend that you use, when you're making this, a thicker cardstock. Not this one. This is kind of flimsy, but use the thickest cardstock that you have, because you're basically, building this whole thing with cardstock, and you're putting paper on it, which will help make it more durable. But on the bottom, I would highly recommend, again, to put chipboard. I added this after I saw it kind of, like, it kept leaning forward. And, I mean, it's kind of, like, as you fill it, it won't wobble as much, but it is paper, so it's going to be somewhat bendable. So, I rewrote my instructions, so if you want to do a screenshot of this, I'm calling it the Flip Top Stand Mini Album. And I'll go through what each of these sections mean. So first, you're going to need, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. And visually, I'm a visual person. I kind of like wrote this out visually. This is how it's going to be, the layout's going to be. So you're going to need 1 3/4 by 5.5. Let's see. I'm sorry, that should be 3 3/4, because that's for this piece right here. 3 3/4. So it's this one, 3 3/4 by 5.5. All of them is going to be by the tallness of it is going to be 5.5. And then you're going to need 1 and 2, 4 inches by 5.5. But don't cut these papers out yet like this. So before you start, don't cut it out to these measurements. I'm telling you the measurements because you're going to score it that way. And then you're going to need 2 that's 6 by 5.5. Okay, so let's tackle that first. So the easiest way to do it is I took 3 sheets of 8.5 by 5, 8.5 by 11, depending on what you want to do. And then I cut them down to 6 inches. So this is what you see right here. So I put them together with glue. So where's my seam? You can kind of tell. It's right here. I don't know if you could tell. I glued it together. This part, I do not recommend a hot glue gun. I recommend a wet glue or some kind of dry adhesive. But I do not recommend the glue gun because you're going to create a bulk. And you don't want bulk. Okay, so basically this is 5.5 inches tall. So I just put 3 together. That's like the easiest way to do it. So I just put 3 of those, 8.5 by, I am so sorry. Oh no, that's right. Okay, 5.5. Okay, so then what you do is you take out your scoreboard. Get that fuzzy out of the way. So then you get your scoreboard out and you're going to do the scoring according to this. So it doesn't matter which way you want to start it. I just kind of just started here at this end. Okay, so the first score mark you're going to make is, actually let's do it from here, 6 inches. Okay, so go to your 6-inch mark, mark 6 inches, and I'm going to do it with a pen, that way you can see as well. Okay, so from here, so you got this scored already, so just fold it and then put that end right here. And now, so we're working backwards. You got this one done, and now you want 4 inches. Okay, so from the edge you want 4 inches. Okay, so that's 4. Okay, so we got this one done, 4 inches, and now we want 6 again. So bend this over and put it against the edge, and we want 4. I'm marking it with a pen so that you can see. You don't mark it with a pen, otherwise it's not going to look very pretty. Okay, so we did that. So far we have, I did this one wrong. Oh, sorry. So this is 6, this is 4, this was supposed to be 6. So ignore that line. The second line is going to be, the third line is going to be 6. I hope I didn't confuse everybody. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we got 6, 4, 6. 6, 4, 6. And now we want the 4. Okay, so remember you're scoring it and bending it as you go. And this one is the 4. Okay. Sorry, I was making sure I was recording because I didn't see my phone. Okay. So then, let's see what's left. What is left after you do the 4 is the 3 3/4. Okay, so now I'm going to go, this is folded, put that to the edge, and do 3 3/4. And this is really the line you're going to cut at. All of this is going to be extra, but I don't like to measure when I'm gluing things together. So you're basically going to, oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry for making you dizzy. You're going to be just cutting because that's going to be your flap. Okay, so this piece you don't really need. So just set it aside. So here is your basic build of your, minus the wobbly. So this is what it's going to look like. This is your front flap, which is this part right here. Okay, so that's that. I just realized that this was a little bit bigger than, yeah, see, I made this one for some reason a little bit bigger than mine. So if you want to keep it consistent to how I did it, let's see how I measured mine. What did I do for, oh, I reduced it down to 5.5. So I cut this part wrong. Basically, I made it 1/2 inch too wide. So keep the instructions that I gave you because those instructions are right. It's just when I cut the sheets down to correct, I didn't do it correctly. Okay, now it's 5.5. Sort of. Just pretend I cut it right. Okay, so now this is going to be just like the one I made. Okay, so then what you need to, so this is the top flap. Again, I'm just labeling it so you don't have to label it. So after you cover it with any type of design paper that you like, I covered mine with really pretty paper I picked up from Tuesday Morning. I always wanted to try her paper. It's the Sarah Davies collection. It's called Garden of Love. It has really pretty paper in it. It's a quick flip through. And for my first one, I didn't want to really use my good paper. I mean, this is really good paper, but so after you cover the all sides of it, you're going to work on the middle part, which is the part that holds up your flaps. This part. Okay, so we're going to work on this binding right here. Okay, so the way you do that is you need, going back to my notes, this is this part right here. You're going to need a sheet of cardstock that's 8 by 5.5 inches, and then you're going to score every 1/2 inch on the 8-inch side, which is the wider side. So I already did that to save us time. Okay, so you see I scored it. Well, let's see. Now you can see it. You see how I scored it every 1/2 inch, and the numbers mean the tabs when after you which I'm going to do next, are the ones that are going to get glued together. Okay, so again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to use a wet glue. I'm going to use a hot glue gun, but do not use a hot glue gun. You're going to add bulk to it. Okay, so basically we're going to just do mountains and valleys. Just fold this back and forth. Once you do the figure out this part, which is really easy, you could use this. It's called the invisible binding system on a lot of your projects. See, that's what's going to create. Okay, so I again numbered these just for you. You're going to eventually cover it, so it's not going to matter. So next what you're going to do is the ones are going to get glued together, the 2s, the 3s, and so on. So again, for the sake of timing, do not do this. Use other glue. You can do it that. And I just realized I folded this wrong. Okay, so let me go back. So when you do the 2s, you have to make sure that the numbered ones are facing each other. So you're not going to do the hills and valleys like I said. You're going to do this. Don't do what I did. I'm so sorry. Hopefully this doesn't confuse you. Okay, so this is what you want. You want the 2s stuck together like that. Then you want the 1s, the 2s, the 3s. So you're not going to do hills and valleys. This is what you want to end up looking like. Okay, so rewind it and watch it again if it doesn't make sense. So after you score it, And the reason why is because this is the space between each of the tabs. See, this is what you want to end up looking like. See the space? There's a 1/2 inch space. Okay, so after you glue all the numbers back to back, you can do a couple at a time if you want to. However way you want to do it. And again, I'm making you dizzy. I keep hitting the stupid pole on the camera thing. Okay, let's see. Did I do that one right? Okay, the 4s and then the 5s. Okay, so 4, 5, 4. Okay, so at the end, just play around with these so they kind of go both ways. And then this is what you're going to have. Move this junk out of the way. Okay, so this is what you're going to have, and this is what's going to hold up the flaps. Okay, so it's not going to be this small. I just work with a scratch piece of paper. Yours is going to be 5.5. So yours is going to fit exactly on the spot right here. Okay, so you want that on the 4. And then the last thing as far as the flaps go, you're just going to put glue all over the bottom. This part I recommend, you can use hot glue if you want at this part. And then you're just going to glue it down. Okay, and then make sure you get glue down and press down in all the spots between the little file tabs, we'll call them. Okay, so then what you're going to have, okay, you're going to have, depending on what color cardstock you use, you want to cover, like say this is going all the way to the end, you want to cover this part. I even covered the 1/2 inch. I just cut a little bit shorter. This is part of the scrapbook paper. And then I used like little sheets. You can kind of measure and play around with the measurement. So it's 1/2 inch, so you want to probably cut the paper a little bit less than 1/2 inch. But you want to cover this so that way, see, you can't really tell that there's a little piece right there. Okay, so after you do that, so cover it with paper, then you're going to make the flaps to go on top. So of course we're measuring 5.5 across. So this part's easy as well. You just take a piece of cardstock that measures 11 by 5.5, and then you score it in the middle, which is 5.5, and then you don't glue this part together like I did right here. Instead, what you do is you take another little sheet. You can just use the scratch ones the scrap ones that you worked on, that you used on the other stuff. And this piece is going to be 1.5 by 5.5, because what you're going to end up doing is putting this like this in order to make a little pocket right there. Again, this is short. I'm using scrap paper. When you cut it 1.5 to 5.5, score in the middle, which is 3/4 inch. Okay, so then use wet glue. Don't do what I'm doing, because I'm just doing it for time's sake. And then you're going to put this on the outside, and it's going to create a pocket for you. If you put the glue on the inside and put it together, it's going to take away space from the flap, and you're not going to be able to use all that 5.5 inches. It doesn't look nice. I tried it. And the last thing you do, cover before you put it on the flaps. Cover it with scrapbook paper, because if you put it on and then try to cover it, it's going to be a hot mess. Okay, so the last thing for this is you're going to need to put adhesive on the flaps. Okay, so work one at a time. Use wet glue, not hot glue. And then you're going to take this. I put the glue on either side of the flap. Hopefully you can see that. And then you're going to take your flap, open it up, and then push it down as far as it can go. And then just kind of massage it. And there you go. So you're going to do this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you're done, you can make pockets. Again, cover it with scrapbook paper before you start embellishing it. You can play around with the measurements to kind of make it your own. I didn't want to make it too bulky and big, so this is the measurements that I came up with. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, let me show you this page. So again, you're not cutting it up. The measurements are just for the scoring sake. Okay. And then that's for the binding system. And that's for the flaps that I just showed you. You take the 11, score it in half, and then you're going to put that little flap on the outside to seal it, and then glue the flap on. So this is the flip top stand mini album finished product. I'm really happy how it came out. Nice to store on someone's desk as a gift, like for wedding pictures or baby album. I had a lot of fun decorating it. The next one's going to be one that I'm going to make from Prima paper, which I've been kind of hoarding since I got it. So it's time to use it. So, oh, and then the last section is if you want to do the Velcro, I highly recommend 3. That way you get kind of a good adhesion. And then you can do any type of pockets, or like maybe a little flip book of a paper album here. So yeah, I had a lot of fun creating it. So hope you have fun creating it as well. A little bead charm, and this is my creation. Thank you for stopping by. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help. Thank you. God bless. Bye.